Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who lived with her stepmother and stepsisters. They treated her poorly and made her do all the household chores, washing dishes, doing the laundry, and cooking their meals. They even made her sleep by the fireplace among the cinders and ashes. And so they called her Cinderella. Cinderella spent her days attending to the demands of her stepmother and stepsisters. One day, as Cinderella was scrubbing the floors, she heard a knock at the door and went to answer. There stood the royal messenger with a letter. It was from the royal palace. She opened it and began to read. "Your presence is requested at the royal ball. It is here where Prince Charming hopes to find his future bride, should she have feelings for him in return." "Give me that," said one of her stepsisters, grabbing the invitation out of Cinderella's hand. "Oh, every woman in the kingdom is to attend the royal ball," shrieked the stepsister. "Certainly Prince Charming would never choose you as his bride, Cinderella," sneered the second stepsister. Saddened, Cinderella picked up her mop and bucket and went back to work. As the ball approached, Cinderella spent her days preparing her stepsisters for the royal ball. She combed their hair, polished their nails, and sewed their dresses. As she sewed, she dreamed of attending the ball herself. "Wouldn't it be wonderful to attend the royal ball?" Cinderella said to a nearby mouse on the day of the ball. "You go to a ball?" her stepsister said from behind her. "Don't be silly. Your hair is full of soot and your clothes are tattered. The royal ball is no place for a girl like you." Tears ran down Cinderella's face as she got up and walked out to the garden and watched her stepsisters prance off to the ball. Just then, a sparkle of light burst behind her. She turned around and was face to face with a beautiful woman. "Hello, dear," she said to a surprised Cinderella. "I'm your fairy godmother, and you must wipe those tears from your face," she said. "You have a ball to go to tonight." "My dress is tattered, and I have nothing else to wear. How could you help me?" asked Cinderella. "I'll show you," her fairy godmother said. Then, with a wave of her wand, her fairy godmother pointed to a pumpkin growing in the nearby garden. The pumpkin magically turned into a beautiful white carriage, pulled by 4 handsome horses. "It's wonderful," shouted Cinderella. "But how can I go to the ball in a dress like this?" With another wave of her wand, her fairy godmother pointed to Cinderella's old dress and turned it into a beautiful ball gown and her worn shoes into glass slippers. Cinderella sparkled from head to toe. "Off you go now," said her fairy godmother. "Just remember one thing. Arrive home by midnight tonight, because everything you see here will vanish when the clock strikes 12. "Oh, I will," said Cinderella. "Thank you." And she was off to the royal ball. Cinderella enchanted everyone at the ball, including Prince Charming. They danced all through the night. In fact, she was having so much fun she nearly forgot to return home by midnight. As the castle clock began to chime, Cinderella raced out of the ball and ran down the castle steps. On her way down, one of her glass slippers fell off her foot, but she didn't dare stop to retrieve it. She hopped into the carriage and dashed away before anyone could stop her. When she arrived home, she was back in her tattered dress, and the pumpkin lay, small and orange, in the garden. "It might have been a dream," said Cinderella, "but it was one I won't soon forget." Meanwhile, the prince was captivated by the lovely woman he had danced with. He found her glass slipper on the steps and held it up.
"Whomever this belongs to, she is my one and true love,"
he said. All week, Prince Charming found himself at the doorstep of every house in the kingdom, looking for the girl who fit into the glass slipper. Finally, he arrived at Cinderella's house. "That's mine," said one stepsister as she opened the door. "No, it's mine," said the other stepsister. Both stepsisters tried as hard as they could to fit their foot into the glass slipper, but it was much too small.
How about you?
The prince said to Cinderella. She walked over shyly and put her foot into the glass slipper. It fit perfectly.
You're the one!
The prince shouted.
I've looked all over the kingdom for you. Will you marry me?
Cinderella couldn't believe it. It was a dream come true. Yes, she said happily. From then on, Cinderella and Prince Charming lived happily ever after at the palace. And the only cleaning Cinderella ever did was polishing the one glass slipper that led her prince to her.